Picture this. It's Friday, 4:45 p.m. Your coworker walks up to you and says, "Hey, can you cover my project this weekend? I'm just completely swamped." And you feel it, that tightening in your chest, that little voice inside saying, "Don't do it. You have plans. You're exhausted. Just say no." But here's what actually comes out of your mouth. "Yeah, of course. No problem." You drive home angry at yourself. And the worst part? It's not the first time. It won't be the last. If that hit a little too close to home, this video is for you. Because today, we're not talking about how to say no. We're talking about why you can't. And the answer is going to surprise you. Most people think that not being able to say no is a personality flaw, weakness, people-pleasing, spinelessness. But psychology tells a completely different story. What you're dealing with is a survival strategy, one that was built in your childhood, long before you had any say in the matter. Here's how it works. When a child grows up in an environment where love was conditional, where approval only came when you were obedient, helpful, quiet, good, the brain makes a very logical conclusion. If I say no, I won't be loved. That's not a metaphor. That's a literal neural program written into your brain before the age of 7. And then that program runs automatically, without your conscious permission. Someone asks you for something, and before your brain can even process the request, your body has already said yes. Psychologists call this the fawn response. It's the fourth stress response, alongside fight, flight, and freeze. People with a fawn response learn to dissolve themselves into other people's expectations as a way to avoid conflict, pain, and rejection. And if that's you, I need you to hear this. You are not weak. You learn to survive in the environment you were given. The problem is, that strategy isn't protecting you anymore. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. When you say yes, even though every part of you is screaming no, a very specific biochemical sequence fires off in your body. First, you feel relief. A tiny hit of dopamine. No conflict. The other person is happy. Threat avoided. But then, and this is critical, cortisol floods in, the stress hormone. Because somewhere deep in your nervous system, a signal was registered. You just betrayed yourself. Research consistently shows that chronic boundary violations, meaning constantly saying yes when you mean no, are directly linked to higher anxiety, depression, burnout, chronic physical pain, especially in the neck and shoulders. You are literally carrying other people's weight in your body, and an overwhelming sense of invisibility, like you're constantly showing up for everyone, and no one is showing up for you. Now here's the paradox that hits people hardest. People who can't say no often believe they're the good ones, the generous ones, the ones people love and appreciate. But the research says something brutal. Studies in social psychology show that people who always agree are actually perceived as less credible, less authoritative. People trust them less, take them less seriously. So the sacrifice you're making isn't even getting you what you want. Here's something most people don't realize. Not everyone who can't say no is doing it for the same reason. And depending on your reason, the solution looks completely different. Type 1. The peacekeeper. These are the people who avoid saying no because they are terrified of conflict. Any tension in a relationship feels like a 5-alarm emergency. They feel personally responsible for managing everyone's emotions in the room. If this is you, your brain has learned to scan the emotional temperature of every person around you with radar-level precision. That's actually a superpower. It's just costing you everything. Type 2. The imposter. These people say yes because they're terrified of disappointing someone. Somewhere deep inside lives a belief. If I say no, they'll see that I'm not actually good enough, not smart enough, not worthy of my place. Saying no isn't just uncomfortable, it feels like proof that they don't deserve to be here. Type 3, the empath. These people say yes because they can literally feel other people's pain in their own bodies. Their mirror neurons are in overdrive. When someone is upset, they feel it physically. And saying no means consciously causing pain to another person, which, for them, is almost unbearable. All three types share something in common: extraordinary sensitivity, without the skills to protect it. I want you to think of one person in your life, the one you consider the most demanding, the one who always seems to take more than they give, the one you bend over backwards for, even at the cost of your own health, your own time, your own relationships. Now ask yourself, honestly, when was the last time that person tried just as hard for you? Here's the uncomfortable truth. When you have no boundaries, you are teaching people how to treat you. Every single yes you give against your will is a lesson for the other person. I can keep taking from this person. There's no limit. You are not a victim in this story. You are an unwilling participant in a system you helped create. And that's exactly why change doesn't start with learning magic phrases for saying no. It starts with questioning a belief you've held for most of your life. The belief that your worth depends on your usefulness. If you believe people love you for what you do, you will always be terrified to stop. Because if you stop, what's left? All right, enough theory. What do you actually do with this? I'm not going to tell you to just say no with a smile. That doesn't work when the wound runs this deep. Here are 3 approaches that are psychologically grounded and actually work. Approach 1, the pause. The simplest and most powerful tool you have. Before you respond to any request, create a gap. Say these words: "Let me think about that for a moment." That pause breaks the automatic chain. Your fawn response is a reflex, but a pause gives your prefrontal cortex, the conscious decision-making part of your brain, a chance to come online. Most people who practice this say that within 2 weeks, they start to feel like they actually have a choice. Approach 2, reframe the no. Instead of thinking, "I'm saying no to this person," think, "I'm saying yes to something more important." You're not turning down your coworker's project. You're protecting your weekend with your family. You're not refusing to lend money to a friend. You're protecting your financial stability. This isn't just semantics. These 2 frames activate completely different parts of your brain. One fires up guilt, the other fires up self-respect. Approach 3, go to the root. If you recognized yourself in type 1 or type 2, real, lasting change only happens when you meet the original belief head-on. The belief that love is conditional, that you are only accepted when you are useful. Ask yourself, when did I first learn that saying no was dangerous? Who taught me I had to earn love? Those answers can change everything. People who can't say no are some of the most generous, most sensitive, most caring people I know. But generosity that destroys you from the inside is not a virtue. It's a wound looking for healing. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are gates. You decide who comes in, when, and why. That's not cruelty. That is self-respect. And I want to leave you with one question. If your best friend lived the way you live, sacrifice themselves as often as you do, what would you tell them? Say that to yourself. If this video touched something in you, drop a comment below. I read every single one. And if you know someone who needed to hear this, share it with them. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do for someone is send them the right video at the right moment. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Next week, we're talking about why the smartest people suffer from imposter syndrome the most and what to actually do about it. See you then.